Climate change also affects one of the iconic, emblematic species in the Mediterranean, marine turtles, and careta careta. And we have today with us on this panel someone who has dedicated 33 years of his life studying marine turtles, both the loggerheads, the carnivore type, and the herbivore type. Without further ado, I'd like to ask Professor Kaska to talk about perhaps unusual ways and unexpected ways, to me at least, in which climate change affects marine turtles, and tell us more about how this particular iconic species, which is actually the emblem of COP22 of our meeting today, how it is grappling in its own way with the triple crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. The floor is yours, Professor Kaska.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for everyone to be at our panel here. And I would like to start by introducing actually two species of sea turtles nesting in the Mediterranean. Everybody knows obviously the careta careta, the loggerhead sea turtle, which is the carnivore and the jellyfish eater, mussel eater, but drops some of this food for the other animals in the biodiversity. So sharing his food and helping the small fishes that they can grow. But I would like to raise also another important species, which is the green turtle. The Latin name is a bit difficult to pronounce, Chelonia midas. That's why probably it's not known as much as the careta careta, which is easily can be repeated, the same word twice. And the green turtles are the gardeners of the Mediterranean. They are the vegetarian, they eat seagrasses. And the seagrasses obviously produces oxygen for entire marine basin. And that's why I call them the gardeners of the Mediterranean basin. As we are cutting our grasses in our gardens at home, then they are doing this job for freely, not asking any money. All we need to do is help and protect these two species. And obviously the Posidonia seagrasses, and we are all talking about climate change is also affecting the distribution of these seagrasses, and probably they are losing the locations in the Eastern Mediterranean and moving towards the back. Obviously, coming back to the climate change, which is the very challenging issue, I will just raise the 2 points for the turtles. One is the sea level rise, what we'll be talking about. And sea level rise means losing of their natal nesting beaches. They depend on the beach they born. They always come to the same beach for continuous nesting. So what will happen if the beach is staying under the water in 50 years' time or 100 years' time? So we are going to lose some of the nesting beaches, and there may be some new nesting beaches. That's why we started having sporadic nestings. You know, maybe you don't hear, but we had one green turtle nest in Libya last year, one in Tunisia, and one in Greece. So maybe green turtles are already colonized in the Far East Mediterranean, Turkey, Cyprus, and on these beaches, but they started moving west. It is the same for loggerhead turtles as well. We started having loggerhead turtle nests in the Aegean coast of Turkey, including Albania, and Italy and Spain also have sporadic nestings. So their nesting is also changing. But more important than this is their sex. Not like ours. Our sex is determined by the sperm of our fathers. When we get into the womb of our mothers, our sex is already determined. But it's not the case for turtles. Turtles don't have sex chromosomes, and their sex is basically determined by the temperature of the sand during the incubation period that stay in the sand for about 2 months. If the temperature is warmer, they are all becoming females. If the temperature is lower, they are becoming males. So we are getting nearly 80%, 90% of the hatchlings are female already. And just imagine that 1 degree of Celsius increase in the near future, will make them all female. So how we are going to let them to survive in this world? So this is another challenging information. But I will give you a few other examples that why we need to protect the sea turtles. I will give you from our life. You know, when we face difficulties, we always say that, oh, I cannot do this, this is too difficult, and so on. You know, the hatchling is almost half of our hand size, 5 centimeters in length. And they buried at about 50 centimeters of the sand, nearly 10 times of their body size. But at the time of emergence, they have to crawl up of all this sand and able to reach to the sea. Not able to reach all of them, but if we try to help them during this process, we are not helping them to survive. The best way of protecting them is let them to crawl and they emerge from this sand, because they are cleaning the remains of the blood, the remains of the yolk, so that they cannot be eaten by the predators when they enter into the sea. If we take them and drop them into the water directly, then predators like big fishes immediately eat them. So it's not going to help them to survive in the nature. Obviously, when the hatchlings are entering to the sea, they are not coming back to the beach where they born for about 25 years. That's why we call this as a lost years. And during these lost years, and also the young ones, subadult ones, juvenile ones, we don't know where they are visiting. They are going to feed on some food in Tunisia maybe, or in Egypt, or someone, the famous turtle tuba, went into the Adriatic, visiting the Albania, Montenegro, close to the Croatia, and so on. But that turtle nested in Turkey, and we're still following this turtle for last 2-3 years. This is the longest period that we have been following them. We are attaching a GPS device on their shells, and we are getting the signals, and we are following their food paths. And the 2 of the turtles later this afternoon, we are going to release with these satellite tags, and we will be understanding their foraging grounds, their wintering grounds. The beaches are important, but the feeding grounds, wintering grounds are also very important in order to let them to survive. And also, we are calling them the ambassadors of the sea, because they don't need to get a visa to come out of one country and to enter the other countries' waters, like the tuba. She already visited the Greece, Malta, Italy, Albania, Montenegro, Croatia, and so on, not taking any visa. So that's why we call them ambassadors of the sea. Obviously, biodiversity loss is very important, and it is the case for sea turtles. And the bycatch issue is one of the next challenges after the global warming and also the habitat loss. Biodiversity loss is very important. From the fisheries interaction, in 1 year, we are getting nearly 132 individuals of turtles trapped in the nets, and 40,000 of these killed every year. And this is a very challenging issue. That's why in recent years, we are developing mitigation trials, putting the LED lights on the net so that the turtles can see the net and not entangle. This is one of the approach that we've been applying right now. The other thing is changing the shape of the hooks from the J type to the G type so that they cannot be entangled to the hooks. And the third one is the turtle exclusive device that attached to the troll nets. When turtles trap in them, they can go without in the collection port of it. The fishermen can keep collecting, but they can vanish from the escaping wall that we attach. I will also show one of these examples at the time of releasing of turtles. Obviously, these are mitigations, but one of the things that turtles are telling us, although they belong to the beach where they born, but they are visiting many countries. In order to protect these emblematic animals, charismatic animals, we need to make collaborations all among ourselves. And they may be nesting on one beach, they may be wintering in another country, and they may be spending more time in the other countries. That's why in the recent projects, we are collaborating nearly most of the countries in this panel and in this room. So collaboration of the Mediterranean countries is necessary. MAVA Foundation projects like the conservation of marine turtles in the Mediterranean, coordinated by the SPARAC, for example, and the MedByCatch, and the European Union supported projects of Life Euro Turtle and the Life Med Turtles are examples of these good collaborations. And as I said, turtles are becoming adults after 25 years. In order to let them to survive in the near future, we need to take conservation efforts for minimum of 25 years so that we can see the output, we can see the result. So as our panelists mentioned, I've been spending my summer time since my university years on the beaches, protecting them, and we started receiving the mothers that I released from hatchling, and they started coming and making nests. We can understand this from the nest counts increases. We have now maybe around 20-25% of the nest numbers are increasing in the Mediterranean. So this is very important. And this is also a good message. If the chance is given to the nature, it will bonus back. So like the turtles, we started getting the benefit of the nature, and we need to continue in the same type of conservation for 30 years. So we need to make long-term commitments. By saying this, I will just finish my speech, and thank you for everyone. And maybe later, if you have any questions, we would be very happy to answer them. Thank you.